Alright, this is going to be really different from what I normally do, but I've been using this, and I felt like I absolutely needed to share this, because this is actually crazy. So, Monk, right, you think about it, right? Not the most particularly impressive class, but you can combine it with Rogue and use Illithid powers to make it actually crazy. Plus, if it's not crazy and I'm just bad at the game, but it's actually like okay to bad, it's fun at least. Like you can punch people. So I figured I would share the build because I just hit level 12. Not just hit level 12. I've been level 12. I'm almost finished with my first-ish playthrough, but I've just been using it and it is crazy. There have been times I wish I had like videos or screenshots. But there have been times where I've literally killed like 6 enemies per turn. Like it's so dumb. You get so many actions, and I think this build also uses the Illithid parasite really well. So yeah, let's just get into it. So you could take this in 2 different ways. You could start as a monk or you could start as a rogue. The only thing is when you start as rogue, you're gonna wanna respec at some point to change your stats around. But I think starting rogue would be, I think it would be easier for the early game. I think it would be easier to use in a better build than starting as monk. But keep in mind you would have to respec because for rogue, you would want to dump your strength completely. You don't need it, but later on, as when you get into the monk stuff, you would really want strength. This is a strength-based monk build, so you would really want strength over dex. But like I'm sure, like depending on who's the main character, if this is the main character or not, you could put charm. You could dump intelligence if you want. Just do stuff like this. I don't know, whatever you want to do with a rogue. But I started as a monk, so I'm gonna detail monk. Basically, this build, it's going to use the Tavern Brawler feat to good effect, and it's going to use your punches and your bonus actions to get a shit ton of damage per turn, a bunch of punches per turn. It gets kind of wild. So basically, what you're going to want to do with your stats, right, you're going to want something along these lines. You know, strength and wisdom should be your highest, right? Because wisdom you'll see later on, but it's nice to have. You get extra stuff from wisdom, and strength should be. So you should have something along these lines. You have 16, 16, around like 13 decks you could have. And like, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. I was just checking to make sure this is right. So this is what I did. You can like, depending on because this is the main character in my file, so I have a little bit of charm. You could always tank charm, put more into con or intelligence or whatever. But I did this. You have a little bit low HP, but it's usually fine. And then just proficiencies, whatever you want. These seem to be the most ideal because you don't want the -1 on either of those. But this is just what you're going to start as. You could use... Now, the important thing about this too, you have bonus action unarmed strike. After making an attack with a monk weapon or unarmed, you can make another unarmed attack as bonus action. Until you get Tavern Brawler, you're going to want to use monk weapons. I made the mistake of not doing that. It wasn't necessarily a mistake, but I kind of just used a different-esque build instead of using a monk weapon. I got the returning pike from the goblin trader and then used throwing damage stacks with Tavern Brawler until, like, for a majority bit of the game, and that also works too. But the monk weapons are going to be... Hang on. I know what I'm talking about, I swear. Gonna be these. The any simple weapons, short swords, spears, pikes, halberds, and glaives. So any of those are gonna proc this unarmed strike. Hang on, actually I could check here. Monk weapons. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Good thing I checked. It's which monk has proficiency but do not have two-handed weapons or heavy properties. So any of those. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say because I didn't. I remember when I had the returning pike, I didn't get this, but that's because it's a two-hand weapon. So you mainly want to stick with one-hand weapons, and you get the unarmed strike as a bonus action. So it's already two actions, which is pretty nice. And make sure you keep that in mind. Unarmed defense is useful too. You're gonna get gear later on that really works with this well. You can add your wisdom modifier, which is always nice. Dexterous attacks is not gonna really come into play unless you do make this a dex build instead of a strength build, which is definitely viable. You just wouldn't have Tavern Brawler, and like I wouldn't take Tavern Brawler if you're gonna make this a dex build. I guess you could also do this when you're starting with Rogue too. If you don't want to respec, you could just be a dex build and not use Tavern Brawler. But I really do think Tavern Brawler really puts your damage at an insane level. I think it's definitely worth it to be a strength Tavern Brawler build. But you could always do dex. Dex is good. And you get an extra 1 to 4 bludgeoning. It's pretty nice too. So yeah, that's your level 1. We're gonna stick with monk here, but just keep in mind you could do rogue and dex. But I'm gonna hit confirm, and as you can see, I also have the Illithids. I'm gonna talk about this as if you are using the Illithids, but this build also works well if you're not. I just think Illithids put this at an insane level, like an absolutely ridiculous level. We're gonna take a second level in monk. There's nothing really to click here. The big, like, do I click accept or not? But you're gonna get additional key points, which is always nice. Unarmed movement, which is gonna be plus 10 feet moved, or I don't know what the conversion is, but I'm using feet because I'm a filthy American. But plus 10 move, of course, very good. And then you get these actions. Patient defense. Patient defense is useful in the early game because there is a armor piece that I'm forgetting the name of that you get in Act 1 that gives you some boost with patient defense. I don't remember. It's been a long time. I should have probably looked this up, but once I finish leveling, I could look at my chest, see if I still have it. But yeah, very good. There's also just like a lot of clothes that are really nice, so getting unarmored benefits is really not that difficult. Okay, and you also get Step of the Wind dash. This is very useful. It's also very useful once you start multiclassing into rogue, because you're gonna have more than one bonus action when you get into the thief subclass. So you could do this and then still have an action and a bonus action. And the jump no longer requires a bonus action is way more impactful than I ever thought it would be. It is just so nice, especially just getting places. It's just so helpful. And then the disengage is not as useful, but it's still disengage but better. Just keep in mind it does use key points, so using it early on it's a bit harder, but yeah, definitely very good. We're gonna hit level 3. Do not mess this level 3 up. When I first tried to do this, I picked the wrong subclass because I forgot the name of it. But you're gonna want to go Way of the Open Hand. This is like most of the point of doing this. You get all of these flurries. You could topple, makes them prone, or you could stagger them. They can't take reactions, or you could push them, which is hilarious. My dumbass, when first trying to do this, picked Way of the 4 Elements and didn't realize until almost the next level that, oh wait, I wasn't supposed to do that. So I had a bunch of like spells that didn't do shit, and then just like, yeah, it didn't make sense. It wasn't particularly helpful. So you're definitely gonna go Way of the Open Hand, for sure. And then you're also gonna get Deflect Missiles. Deflect Missiles is just really nice. Just, you need to keep in mind that keep in mind of where you are on the map when you deflect them with your key points, because there have been so many times where I've hit deflect, used a key point, and I threw the missile into a wall. It's very embarrassing, but just keep in mind of where you are. You could deflect without a key point, just so you don't like take less damage or take no damage, but throwing it back Whoa, that's crazy. But throwing throwing it back is what you need to keep in mind. Obviously, you're gonna get another key point in these actions. You're just gonna hit accept. You're gonna hit level 4. This is gonna be a huge power buff. You're gonna get more key points and slow fall, which is just keep it on. It's never bad. Like, oh no, I had slow fall. I want to take more fall damage. Like, no one's ever said that. But you're gonna get your feet. You're gonna want to go straight for Tavern Brawler. This reads, when you make an unarmed attack, use an improvised weapon or throw something, your strength modifier is added twice to the damage and attack rules. And your strength modifier, right now, pretty good. So you have a lot of strength. So you're gonna get Tavern Brawler, and you can increase it. Now, the way that I set this up, you could do this in a couple different ways. This build will get 3 feats, and one of those feats is going to be mobile, so you have 1 ability improvement that's going to be used. I ended this at 20 strength, which means... Wait, how did I do that? I think I messed this up, actually. Did I? Wait, was I at 20? Hold on. Am I crazy? No, I wasn't at 20 strength. Okay, so what I ended up doing, I put this in strength, and then I did ability improvement strength. So I got 19. So technically, I guess what you could do also is get your strength to 17, do this, and then ability point, and you get to 20. Or you could do +1 strength here, and then you could use the Auntie Ethel hair to get to 18 and then do 20. That's just, I guess mine is slightly less optimal. I only have 19 strength. I know 1 point, I'm going to cry about it, but it's really a matter of preference of like where you want to spread your points. I think this is a good overall spread, but if you want to get your strength to 17 on character creation or at base, you could do that so that you get this 1 point and then ability improvement later to get it to 20. But as of now, it's just 17 strength. You could increase con, but I think strength is just better, just more damage. It's just nice. You have more damage. Damage is good. We like damage. And then you're going to get your level 5 monk. This is another huge power buff because you're going to get more key points and you're going to get extra attack. Extra attack is massive. And it will be very important later once I go over the Illithids. It becomes so stupid. But you're also going to get Stunning Strike, a melee, and unarmed. It's pretty nice. You get the you get a chance to stun. It's just keep in mind it's not like guaranteed. They have to make a saving throw, but it's definitely nice for sure. And then you're gonna take that. So level 6 now is where you're gonna want to. You could take 2 different paths for this. You could just take your level 6 monk. It depends on really how you want to level it, but you could take your level 6 monk. You're gonna get more key points. Your movement, you get 5 more movement speed for your improved unarmored movement, and you can get key empowered strikes. So, your fists are magical, basically. They ignore resistance. So, bludgeoning resistance, no issue. You're just gonna go straight through it. And then the subclass features, you can add extra necrotic, psychic, or radiant damage. I think what I've been doing, I've mostly kept it on Radiant because I've found that the least amount of things in the game resist Radiant. But you could change it depending on what you're fighting or like what something's weak to. But it's safe to say if you just want to leave it on and not worry about it, just put it on Radiant or Psychic. But Radiant's probably better. I just wouldn't do Necrotic because I've found just like, not a science of course, but I just found overall that as I was playing through, more things were just resistant or immune to necrotic. So this wouldn't do anything if they're immune and resistance. I mean, just immune, because the resistance, you're going to ignore the resistance with your punch. But the immunity, you're losing damage. You don't want to be losing damage. But And then you'd also get Wholeness of Body. Wholeness of Body is amazing. Extra healing plus an extra bonus action. And the way that this build is set up, this gets pretty ridiculous. And it's just healing. Healing, and then you can attack. It sounds crazy. But what I actually did is, this is where I started taking my rogue level ups. You could do Monk 6 and then take your rogue level ups. But I'm just going to show it how I did it here. Just because that's how, I mean, that's just how I did it before. But you could easily just take Monk. This build does eventually, just keep in mind, this build ends at Monk 8 and 4 Rogue. So as long as you get there by the end, you'll be fine. It's just a matter of what you prefer. I just wouldn't, I wouldn't hop on and off. Like, I wouldn't do Rogue 1 and then 6 Monk and then 2. Like, I'd just do it straight until it's complete for the most part. Like, I wouldn't, you know, like, you just be smart about it, you know, just think about it before you do it. But I'm gonna just take this level in Rogue. You're gonna get sneak attacks, which I did not find particularly useful. Because you're not, this is not gonna matter at all. You're not gonna have a knife, but sneak attack range, you could have a bow, I guess. I think I had a bow at some point. I think I've used it once, but it's typically, like, you typically are gonna get more damage out of just punching people, but like, it could be useful. But you also get sleight of hand and stealth, so whatever that's worth. And you're gonna take level 2 rogue, cunning action, hide, dash, and disengage are really good. Cunning action dash in particular is nice because you're gonna have, next level you're gonna get another bonus action, so you can cunning action dash and just have more movement. You have your action and another bonus action. You just get more movement for free. Just double your movement. Why not? It's pretty useful, especially for a build that's melee. Level 3, you're gonna want to take Thief. Don't take Arcane Trickster, don't take Assassin, take Thief, because you're gonna get fast hands. Gain additional bonus action. It is a huge power buff. And you get another resistance to falling damage, which is just awesome. It's hilarious. But yeah, you're gonna take that. Now, this is another choice. I know I said before, like, oh, don't switch in between the two, but I think, now that I remember correctly, I think I did take level 6 rogue here, level 6 monk here, but, just because this extra damage it becomes useful, because now that you have the bonus actions, you could really start stacking damage, but here, you could pick a feat, if you want to get your feat out of the way, so you could do your ability improvement, or you can do mobile. I think mobile is really important, just so, like, I know I said before, you could take your bonus actions for cunning dash and such, but if you could just have more movement, pretty nice. Increase your movement speed, and difficult terrain doesn't slow you down when you dash, and then, like I said before, you have the cunning dash, so it's not particularly, like, it's even better. And if you move after making a melee attack, you don't provoke an opportunity attack for our no melee option. Melee, I'm pretty sure this doesn't mean unarmed, but it doesn't particularly matter. It's still pretty useful. It's a matter of what you prefer, though. I think I did take mobile first. Actually, no, I think I took ability improvement first. You might just want to do ability improvement, just more damage. You can't really go wrong with it. But I think, yeah, I'm just going to click ability improvement for this. And then level 4 rogue is where you're going to stop. Now, you're just going to take monk. You're going to get wholeness of body. Level 10. Actually, yeah, you know what? I think you should take level 6. I think you should get to 3 rogue, and then, like, if you're taking monk first, right? You do monk to 5, and then take rogue to 3, and then do 6 monk, and then 4 rogue. Because I think these are more important, just for that bit of time. It's just up to preference, but that's how I would do it, now I think about it. But you're just going to take that. Now you're going to hit level 11. You're just going to continue taking monk. You're going to get stillness of mind. If you are charmed or frightened, you automatically cast stillness of mind, remove the condition. Like, nice. Nobody likes being charmed or frightened. Awesome. Evasion. Your agility lets you dodge out of the way of certain spells. When a spell or effect would deal half damage on a successful dexterity saving throw, it deals no damage if you succeed, and only half if you fail. Nice. More key points. Awesome. And what it doesn't tell you here, I think. Actually, no, before I say it, I'm going to take this next level. I might be wrong. But I'm going to take a level 8 monk. Okay, so it doesn't say it. Okay, so your wholeness of body action is going to increase from 18 to 24 HP, which is nice. It didn't say it there, but it does do that. But more key points, and you're going to get your last feat. I personally would take mobile, but you could easily just take ability improvement if you want. You could do something like this, or something like this, you know. And if you have this strength at 20, you can just do +2 like wisdom or dex or con. But for the sake of this, I'm going to take mobile, just because that's what I had. Speed increase, you know, who doesn't like more movement? Hit accept there, and you should have something like this. Now you're going to see the Illithid powers. I'm going to go over, yeah, you can already see it here, but 28 to 62 is a lot. It's coming from, I'll go over the gear, but just do this without the gear for now. You're gonna get 12 to 17. So 12 to 17, you're gonna get an extra attack, and then you're gonna get, let's just say for the sake of it, you're not using 2 of these. 12 to 17 twice. No, 12 to 17 3 times, because you're gonna get the unarmed, and then you're gonna get flurry of topple blows for the 24 to 34. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. Now we're gonna add the gear back, and you could see how ridiculous this starts getting. Now I'm gonna go over the gear real quick. This hat has kind of been filler for me. When I got it, I'm just like, okay, but it's definitely good. You gain a +2 bonus to attack rolls when attacking creatures that have already taken action. This is, now that I think about it too, this is pretty useful because your dex isn't the highest in the world. Like, usually I'm not that high in the initiative tracker, which is, oh, now that I think about it too, you might want to take alert over mobile. If you really don't like being farther down the initiative tracker, take alert over mobile. But yeah, this is useful because, you know, I'm usually hitting some things that I've already taken a turn. So +2, we like that. And then you're gonna get this Bloodthirst. Unarmed and melee attacks deal an additional 2 necrotic damage as long as you don't have full health. Not being at full health is pretty easy with this build, not gonna lie. So extra 2 damage, we'll take it. And if you don't deal any damage this turn, you take 1 to 4 necrotic damage at the end of your turn. It's a negligible amount of damage, but it also activates this. If you really had a tough time getting below full health, you'll get it for free by activating this. And it's really not that hard it's really not that difficult to do damage in a turn, believe it or not. So this is pretty negligible downside. This cape, Cloak of Displacement, at the beginning of the wearer's turn, the cloak activates, granting enemies disadvantage on attack rolls that the target wears. This is just a good cape. I haven't really found anything better than this at the current moment, but I will also mention that if you are playing as Dark Urge, you would get the Deathstalker Mantle, and I think the Deathstalker Mantle for this build would be actually insane. I would put the Deathstalker Mantle on this build if you have it, but this isn't a Dark Urge, so I don't have it, but if you do have it, I would put it on this build. The Vest of Soul Rejuvenation, you get this in Act 3. I forgot who. I think I bought it from a seller. I think at the bookstore, but I don't remember. But this is going to be nice because you get, whenever the wearer succeeds on saving throw against a spell, they regain 1 to 4 hit points. Nice. We'll take it. But what's really good about this is the Greater Kushigo counter. The wearer can use a reaction to make an unarmed strike against any attacker that misses. So if you dodge, which is not impossible, you know, there's a lot of things that go into this that gives you just dodge. So when you do, you can click rate or critical counter, and you punch them in the face for like a lot of damage. Like there have been many times where this has just killed people because like, oh, you missed an attack, now you're dead. Like just an extra guy off the map, and that's really important in this game. But and you just get +2 AC, +2 AC, and it's clothing, so you're getting all of your unarmored benefits, and it's stacking with wisdom. So this is 16 AC. You can see all the buffs there. Next is the gloves. Keep in mind these gloves are Act 3 and very kind of late into Act 3. You have to do like all of the House of Hope stuff with Raphael. You get it for completing. You get it for saving Hope in the House of Hope. This is a very late game. Just keep. I will show gloves later on that I've wore throughout the game, because this is not very reliable. I can't just. I feel like I can't just say, oh, get these gloves, because they're very late on, but they are very good. 1 to 10 force damage on your unarmed attacks is insane. Once per turn on unarmed hit, you can regain 10 hit points. There have been times where I've used this in combination with Wholeness of Body. So you heal 24, you heal 34 health in a turn and can like do a lot of damage. And I think that's pretty crazy. Alternatively, you may forego healing to gain advantage on attack rolls and saving throws until the end of your next turn. That's pretty useful too. And +2 con. Nice. +2 con is nice. We like +2 con. Nobody's going to complain about +2 con. Unless you have 20 con, I guess. But this is very good for this build. You get this at the end of Act 2, beginning Act 3. It's you can loot them from a Githyanki when you're doing the. I'm gonna try to avoid spoilers, but you'll know what fight it is when you get to it, because it happens like in between a long rest. You can loot this off one of the Githyanki that you and either kill or knock out, but you loot them off their corpse, and it says experienced and deadly. The wearer deals additional damage equal to their wisdom modifier with unarmed attacks. That's why we have 16. Like our wisdom is pretty nice right now, so this is pretty good. Yeah, obviously unarmed. You could. I don't even have a bow equipped. I think you can use. If you could have a proficient bow, you might as well equip it. There's not really a point not to, especially if it gives you like a spell or something you could cast. Like, might as well, but if you're not proficient, I wouldn't bother. Amulet of Branding. This is just a nice thing to have. Gives you Brand the Weak, which is expose the weak points of an enemy. They become vulnerable to bludgeoning, slashing, or piercing damage. So once per long rest, you can make something weak to bludgeoning, which is what you do. You do bludgeoning damage with all of your things. Do bludgeoning. So you just actually destroy things. This ring, this is a very early game ring. Ring of Flinging. You get this in Act 1, I believe, from a trader in the Myconid colony? I don't know. I'd look into that. But yeah, the wearer gains a 1d4 bonus to throw damage. This has not left my inventory. There are probably better, if you don't want to like do throwing stuff at all at any point in the game, there's definitely better rings to equip just overall. I think I have it on Karlach. Yeah, +10 move, like Crusher's Ring is a good one for early game too. You get it around like the same time as this. +10 movement speed, just more stacks to your movement speed. You're gonna want movement speed because you're punching guys. There's no point in having all of this punch power if you can't get to them. And then the Ring of Regeneration. At the beginning of your turn, the ring activates and heals you for 1 to 4 hit points. Nice. Nobody's complaining about health, but yeah, I think before when I had, if you're using monk weapons or like returning pike for throw stuff, I had the Caustic Band, which you also get in Act 1. It's just flat 2 acid damage to all of your weapon attacks, which is nice. But if you're not, obviously, if you're unarmed, there's no point. But that's the gear I have on now. We're gonna look in my traveler's chest just to see if I have any earlier gear that might be useful. Where is it? Okay, this is what I had before. Garb of the Land and Sky. While using Patient Defense, you also benefit from the effect of Blade Ward. So Patient Defense is already... Attack rolls against you have disadvantage and advantage on dex saving throws. This is more of like, oh, I'm done with my turn, I just have one bonus action. Let me just pop this so I don't die. So having Blade Ward also majorly helps with not dying. And then you also get +1 AC, and you get Breeze Swift Speed. While using Step of the Wind, your next attack roll has advantage and deals an additional 1 to 8 force damage. Very, very good. So this is just... I'd wear this until you get the Vest of Soul Rejuvenation. Other armor... Okay, this is the Act 1 one that you get. Armor of Uninhibited Kushigo. While Patient Defense is active, the wearer can use their reaction to make an unarmed strike against any attacker that misses. Basically, it's Kushigo counter, but worse, because it's earlier game armor. So this is probably going to use for like most of the game. But you could swap it out for other stuff if you like to, but that's just mainly what I did. Other gear that could be useful... Trying to take a look. I guess you could go with the luminous gloves, actually, now that I think about it, because you're going to get Manifestation of Soul, so you're doing radiant damage with their punches. So this will give you, the target will receive a turn of Radiating Orb, and you get a +1 to strength saving throws. So that's just pretty nice, but there'd be like a short window of time where you'd want to use this, relatively, I think. If I remember... Because you're going to have this, Manifestation of Soul, to use it. So that's another option. I'm trying to look for the gloves I had before. I know they're called Uninhibited... Yeah, they're right here. Gloves of Uninhibited Kushigo. The wearer deals an additional 1d4 damage with thorough attacks and weapons made with improvised weapons. It's really nice if you're planning on throwing stuff. This in combination with the Ring of Flinging, just very nice damage. I've had this for most of the game. Another option too, if you are playing a gnome, halfling, or dwarf, is the Nimble Finger gloves, because the ability says grant +2 to Dex if you're a gnome. Halfling and dwarves gain +1 Dex, and you get sleight of hand, which you're gonna be a rogue. You could steal stuff, so I guess it's another option, I guess. Is there anything else here I'd really recommend? That I have, obviously. This is also an option. I forgot where I got this from, but your unarmed attacks deal an additional 1 through 6 necrotic damage and possibly inflict bleeding. That's pretty nice too, if you do. But I'm pretty sure this is Act 3, but you could equip that. Probably in between... like getting the Gloves of Soul Catching and Uninhibited Kushigo gloves, you could put these on. And there's also, I don't know where they are. I have it in another file. But, oh, what did I just put? What are these at? No. You could use these too, now that I think about it, actually. Since it's here, Gauntlets of Hill Giant Strength. These are in the House of Hope also. So I don't think, if you really want to min-max other stats that aren't strength, you could go Hill Giant Strength gloves over these, but I do think this is better. I wouldn't go with the gloves, but if you really want to, I guess you could. The Gloves of Dexterity could be used if you want to dump your dex, but I would only do that before getting these gloves. I really do think these gloves are very good once you get them. I don't think there's a lot of better options. But if you want to wear these in between, like, from when you get these to these gloves, I think that's also a viable option. You would just make sure that your strength is higher than 18, because then the melee attacks will start using your dex instead. But having a high dex is never bad. The amulet you could use also. If you don't want to use Brand the Weak, or you have this on someone else, the Constitution amulet is obviously very good. You could dump your con, wear this, and be very bulky. Any other piece of gear? Cloak of Protection too. I don't wear it because another character has it, but it's probably it's just good. You know, it's never bad. I know there's glove. I forgot what they're called, but there's gloves that increase your AC if you have no armor on. Before you get these, I guess you could use those too. I don't know what they're called, but they need gloves. Knock gloves. Could use those, I guess. Dominate person is hilarious. Okay. Oh wait. Okay. There's the caustic band. So if you're using monk weapons, I think it's very good for the early game, just most of the game in general. I think now I will go over the Illithid powers. So let's look at the Illithid tree. Now, if you're only using Illithid powers on one person, you will have access to tadpoles, at least right now. I am a partial Illithid. That is a choice. That is up to you. But I think if you're using Illithid powers, you might as well go all the way. Like, so let's start here. The first one I would grab is Favorable Beginnings. This is just nice. The first attack roll ability check you make against any target gains a bonus equal to your proficiency bonus. We'll take it. It's great. Psionic Overload, a little risky in the early game, but I don't like it as much because it takes an action. I haven't really used it a lot, but I could, like, 1 to 4 psychic damage is never bad. Transfuse Health is a little niche, but it could be useful. Concentrated Blast on this build is not going to see use at all. There's not going to be used. But, yeah. You're not going to be concentrating on any spells. Force Tunnel, again, pretty niche, but it could be used to good effect. Let's see. Stage Fright. Your target has disadvantage on attack rolls and take 2 to 12 psychic damage each time they miss. Is also niche, but it's, I guess, good for targets that you can't see dying anytime soon, but I don't know. Ability Drain, again, another niche one. The really good ones come from Partial Illithid, but I'd say before Partial Illithid, the ones I'd prioritize are Favorable Beginnings. Luck of the Far Realms is nice, once per long rest. You basically get 1 lucky charge. So this is just nice. It's nice to have. Charm could be useful. It's also nice because it's a reaction. Displace. Creatures suffering falling damage because of your actions take an additional 1 to 8 psychic damage. So that's like that works with Flurry of Blows push. So if you use that and then push them off like a cliff or something, they're probably gonna die. But I think this is a Psionic Backlash. This is just like, this is a reaction too. You just click the button. It's extra, psychic damage, extra button. And then Psychic of Thralls. Conjure a volatile shield around yourself or an ally, granting the target 10. I don't remember if this is regular Illithid or partial Illithid. I'm pretty sure all of these are partial Illithid. But this is niche, but it could be useful. It's once per short rest though. I don't know. Okay, so let's get into the partial Illithids, which is all of these. I'm gonna start with the most important and the most broken one by far. Mind Sanctuary. Sculpt a magical nexus that allows those within to take actions and bonus actions interchangeably. So I think you can already see how this could be useful. You will end up with 2 bonus actions. So let's just say you Mind Sanctuary. It's this amount of range, so anything in this range. And you still have your bonus actions. So you have 2 bonus actions, but since you could use stuff interchangeably, you can use this unarmed attack. Now, what the difference between this unarmed attack and your bonus action unarmed attack is this one gives you extra attack. So these 2 bonus actions turn into 4 actions. You get to do this 4 times. So, it's a little nuts. And just after you have your action done, too, the next turn, if you're still in this and take advantage of it, you get 6 actions if you're with your unarmed punch. And if you have wholeness of body up, you get another bonus action. So that's like, holy shit, the math is not mathing. 2, 4, yeah, 8 punches. 8 punches per turn is crazy. And if you don't even get me started if you have haste. If someone's hasting you and you get a turn off with this up, like, good luck. Everything's dead. Like, just you've already won. But yeah, that's the best one. Free cast. You have discovered a marvelous adaptability within yourself. Spell slots, charges, and similar resource costs for your next action and spells are removed. So this is basically every long rest you get an extra key point. Nice. We'll take it. Absorb intellect. Gobble up a foe's intelligence, lowering their intelligence by 1 per turn, healing your wounds for 5 turns. This could be useful. I don't think I've ever used it, but I could see it being useful. It's also hilarious. The description is hilarious to me. Gobble up foe's intelligence. That's so awesome. Displacer beast shape. Transform into a displacer beast that can displace itself in enemies and has 85 hit points. I have not really found a use for this. I'd rather just punch people. However, I could see the vision. I could see how this could be useful. If not for anything, if you're about to die, you could pop it and then you have an extra health bar. So, Fractured Psyche. Invade a target's mind, disrupt its defenses. The target armor class reduced by 1. It's a little niche, but again, I could see it being useful. The Illithid Experience. This is very, very useful. Because I've had this on my protagonist, like my main character. Deception, persuasion, intimidation checks. Like I think I have a plus 12 on them right now. Like, it's so ridiculous. It's very funny. Like me and my friend are playing through this right now, and we just basically, like, whenever I do stupid stuff with Illithid powers, it's just oh, it's like, oh, how'd that guy die? Oh, it's Illithid powers cheats. I turn my hacks on. Or just like, oh, I passed this check, that's a DC of 25. How'd you do that? Oh, I have my Illithid cheating. You know, it's very funny. Psionic Dominance. When an enemy is within 60 feet, targets using when an enemy within 60 feet targets you with a spell of a level that is lower than or equal to your proficiency bonus, you can use your reaction to nullify that spell. Basically, it's counterspell. Counterspell good. We like counterspell in this house. Black Hole is hilarious and also very useful. You can knock people in the cliffs. You can just bunch them up together. This also works with your... I guess it works with Repulsor too. Push anything and anyone back 20 feet. But you could bunch them all together and then use this Call of the Week, which is crazy. I didn't even get into it yet, but I guess I should explain it. It's a toggleable passive, right? When you bring a creature down to fewer hit points than your number of evolved Illithid powers, it dies and all nearby creatures take 1 to 4 psychic damage. So, fewer hit points than your number of evolved Illithid powers, right? So I'm at max right now. Everything here is max. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Did I count this? I'm counting again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, 24. If anything gets below 24 health, they die. And anything around it takes 1 to 4 psychic damage. 24 health? Oh my god, wait. At 26. I forgot these two. Oh my god. 26. Okay. 26 health, I mean. Sorry. It's more lenient. This is insane. I would be mindful, though, it is like an aura shockwave-ish effect. So if you want to keep people, like, alive near it, not like your teammates or anything, but just like people like you want to knock down, say you're trying to save Minx in Act 3, this could accidentally get him killed. So I would turn off, but just keep in mind it does not stack with the knockout passive, so if you have your non-lethal on, this would automatically be off. You don't have to worry about it. Just keep that in mind. It is like, you know, it's an AoE kind of thing. But this is just ridiculous. It's just more damage. It's crazy. Mind Blast is actually so hilarious, but it's once per long rest, and you can stun people. The thing that's crazy about it, do I have it? Can I show it? Ah, man. All right. Well, basically what I'm trying to say is this blast radius is huge. It is massive. You can get a massive stun on a giant group of enemies with this. It is so useful. And like it's just no, it's just good damage too. 7 to 35 is nice. And by far, if one of the best, if not the best on here, which is crazy because Call of the Week and Psionic Dominance and like all this other stuff, that's crazy, and Mind Sanctuary, fly to a target position, 60 feet, 60-foot fly. And remember how we were stacking movement speed before? Like, it is, I cannot like, it's so crazy. I cannot even like describe how useful this is. This is the most used out of the Illithid powers probably that I've used. Definitely, it's just very easy. Just fly all over the place. Very, 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 very useful. Extremely useful. Yeah, that's basically the build.
I've seen everything.
That's whoa, okay. That's gonna be it for now. I might do more videos like this. I probably won't though, if I'm being real. But if people want to see it, I'll do it. If I have more builds to show off. I don't know if I have any better builds than this. They might be worse. This build might be bad. I don't even know. I'm not particularly like good at this game. I don't even know why you're watching this video. But if people like it, then I'll do more of it. And you should tell me that in the comments, where you leave a comment, and then you could also like and then subscribe. You should totally all do that. Okay, I'm going to get out of here though. And yeah, that's basically it.